Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Tonight, First Lady Melania Trump's surprise trip to the border. The First Lady inside a child detention facility in Texas, where there are children separated from their parents by her husband's zero-tolerance policy. What the First Lady asked authorities during her visit about reuniting children with their parents, and the words seen by the country and by the world on the back of her jacket, saying, "I really don't care, do you?" What her spokeswoman first said today, and what the president is now saying about that jacket just moments ago. Also developing at this hour, the severe thunderstorm watch across several states right now and flash flooding turning deadly. From Texas up to the Northeast, a boy sucked into a storm drain and surviving in Pennsylvania. Also tonight, the protests erupting after this video. A 17-year-old unarmed running from a car, an officer sworn in that day, shooting and killing the teen. The developing headline coming in today involving the Turpin family, the parents of 13 children. What some of the children have revealed in court, put in cages for punishment, they say, and what the judge has now decided tonight. Will the parents stand trial? And the doctor, the woman who was dancing while she operated on patients, suspended, now fighting to keep her license. How she explains her behavior to us. The exclusive interview right here tonight.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night. And we begin tonight with the First Lady's visit to the border, where children have been separated from their parents. Just 24 hours after her husband signed that executive order saying families will no longer be separated. But the president's move came after weeks of reporting and then the images of children in cages and audio of their cries. The First Lady's visit today was a surprise. They did not reveal it beforehand. And she did have questions when she got there. You will hear what she asked. As tonight, President Trump is now on the cover of Time magazine, a crying little girl looking up at him, the caption reading, "Welcome to America." And what the president just tweeted about his wife's trip, and in particular about the words on the back of her jacket. ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega leading us off.
White House says the First Lady's surprise trip to a Texas shelter for migrant children today was 100% her idea. She wanted to see for herself how they're being treated.
And I also like to ask you how I can help to these children to reunite with their families as quickly as possible.
Tonight, there still is no official plan for reuniting those families torn apart by her husband's zero-tolerance crackdown. During her 2 hours on the ground, Mrs. Trump peppered workers with questions.
And those children, how many times they speak with their relatives or families per week, for example?
Well, the children are allowed to communicate with their family twice a week. Mm-hmm. They get a 10-minute phone call.
The trip meant to send a message of compassion until another message emerged. As Mrs. Trump was in the air headed home, these photos surfaced. The First Lady on her way to visit those detained children. On the back of her $39 Zara jacket, the words, "I really don't care, do you?" Her spokeswoman saying in a statement, "It's a jacket. There was no hidden message. After today's important visit to Texas, I hope this isn't what the media is going to choose to focus on." But the letters right there in large font, the First Lady fully aware of the cameras and the eyes of the world watching. And as if to prove a point, she wore it again when she landed back in Washington. The president telling reporters today he and his wife were both moved by the images of those children.
It really bothered her to be looking at this and to seeing it, as it bothered me, as it bothered everybody at this table. We're all bothered by it.
Ivanka Trump speaking out too, the first daughter and special advisor to the president breaking her silence 75 days after the controversial zero-tolerance policy began. Today she tweeted, "It is time to focus on swiftly and safely reuniting the families that have been separated." But tonight, chaos and confusion among the agencies trying to carry out the president's executive order. It is unclear whether migrant parents will be prosecuted and when and how more than 2,000 children will be reunited with their families. Not helping the matter, conflicting statements from top administration officials. Last month, this was Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who said the Bible justified family separations.
If you are smuggling a child, then we will prosecute you. and that child may be separated from you as required by law.
But today on the Christian Broadcasting Network,
and the American people don't like the idea that we're separating families. We never really intended to do that.
now on Capitol Hill, protests. Children wrapped in Mylar blankets like the children in the detention centers. From Democrats, outrage.
Come on, he's flying by the seat of his pants here in terms of trying to make this up.
President Trump firing right back.
If you took zero tolerance away, everybody would come right now. They'd be getting their little belongings, unfortunately, and they would be heading up. You would have a run on this country the likes of which nobody's ever seen.
He says he wants to be both compassionate and tough. But as this new Time magazine cover shows, an image of the president staring down a sobbing migrant girl, that might be a difficult sell.
And Cecilia Vega back with us live from the White House tonight. And Cecilia, 24 hours after the president signed his executive order, are we any closer to an answer on how long the administration can actually detain entire families now?
Well, David, for now, it's 20 days, but today the Justice Department made it official and asked a federal judge in California to go beyond that 20-day mark and hold these parents and children together. So far, that judge has not yet responded.
And Cecilia, just moments ago, President Trump reacting to the First Lady's trip to Texas.
He did. It came in the form of a tweet, David. He was addressing that jacket. He says those big letters right there, you see him on the back that say, "I really don't care, do you?" refers, he says, to the media. Quote, Melania has learned how dishonest they are, and she truly no longer cares. David, we have asked the First Lady's office if that is indeed her message. We haven't heard back from them.
You'll stay on it. Cecilia Vega leading us off. Thank you. And as you heard Cecilia report there, the major question tonight, how soon will the more than 2,000 children who have been separated in just the last month or so will be reunited with their parents? Do authorities know where they all are and where their parents are? And tonight, the supporters of the president who said he promised to be tough, and tonight they stand by him. ABC's Gio Benitez at the border for us again tonight.
Tonight, more than 2,300 children sit in limbo, waiting to be reunited with their parents with no clear timetable. The government releasing new images from a few of the 100 shelters in more than a dozen states. The media not able to film at these facilities. In Florida, some of the children seen in art class. In Virginia, a math lesson and a game of soccer. And for the first time, we see a baby being rocked by a caretaker at a so-called tender age shelter. Those images released after reports said babies and toddlers in those shelters were crying and in crisis. But tonight, still no answers for mothers like Ibis Guzman, who is detained in Seattle. Her 5-year-old son nearly 1,800 miles away in a San Antonio shelter.
Bueno, yo me imagino que el niño se siente desesperado, así como yo me siento, sin tenerlo a él.
Telling us from jail, she imagines how desperate her son is all alone, and she is fighting to reunite with him. Today, protests from Pennsylvania to the Capitol to that tent city in Tornillo, Texas, where mayors from across the country demanded families be reunited immediately. Ruben Garcia helps migrant families on the border. He says there's no one agency that keeps track of separated families.
In a normal situation, that gets very messy, and now we're talking about more than 2,300 kids.
Correct. And the parents of 2,300 kids that are locked up in different places.
But for others along the border, like cattle rancher Ruperto Escobar, he didn't want those kids separated, but he supports the president.
They come in here illegally, and we, the taxpayers, wind up footing the bill for everything starting from education, food, clothing, housing, you name it, health care. Who's going to pay for all of that? We are. And I don't think that's right.
At that Minnesota rally, while many said those images were sad, they still stand by the president.
I think that we have a lot of issues at home that we need to take care of before we start taking care of other people too.
The president's trying to make it right, I think. He's doing his best. You know, it's a big world.
And Gio Benitez back with us live tonight from the border. And Gio, we've also learned this evening that HHS has now requested that the Defense Department use military bases to house up to 20,000 unaccompanied migrant children.
Yeah, that's right, David. Officials toured 4 military bases in case they need them. Now, the Obama administration actually did something very similar back in 2014 to house 7,000 unaccompanied children. David.
Gio Benitez with us on this as well. Thanks, Gio. We're going to move on tonight to the other news this Thursday evening. The severe storm watch as we're on the air across several states at this hour, and the deadly flash flood threat really from Texas all the way up to the Northeast. A new round of heavy rain along the Gulf Coast of Texas. Families forced to evacuate a motel there in Harlingen. The Pittsburgh area reeling from floods that washed away cars and took the life of one woman there. And we've learned tonight that a young man sucked into a storm drain has survived. ABC's Marcus Moore in the storm zone.
Tonight, powerful storms on the move, already inundating parts of western Pennsylvania. Flash flooding prompted evacuations and dozens of high water rescues.
There goes a car.
Near Pittsburgh, vehicles floating up to half a mile downstream. Nearly 3 inches of rain falling in just 2 hours. Water sweeping one woman away. She died. 18-year-old Ben Smith, lucky to be alive.
I caught a breath and then just took me back again.
Surviving being sucked into a storm drain. And in the south, more than 15 inches of rain falling in 48 hours in Hidalgo County. This motel surrounded by water, families evacuating by school bus.
And this is a look at the incredible scene along the interstate here in McAllen. Just look at the access road submerged and nearly 24 cars stranded. Those vehicles flooded out.
The Texas governor issuing a disaster declaration.
You can see people pushing an SUV to higher ground.
Officials urging residents to stay off of the roads.
David, as you can see, there is still a lot of water here and a lot to clean up. This is the worst flooding this area has seen since Hurricane Harvey. David.
Marcus, thank you. ABC Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z tracking it all again tonight. She's live along the George Washington Bridge there, just across the bridge in New Jersey tonight for us. Ginger?
David, our maps are lighting up. We've got to get straight to it where there's severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in western Tennessee and Kentucky. Damaging wind of 60+ miles per hour is the main threat there. But along that stationary front, you see all that green? That's not just the radar, but flash flood watches from Iowa to Virginia. There's a flash flood warning in place for Spencer, West Virginia tonight. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, we've got a threat too, from Greenville to Huntsville and back into Colorado. Excessive heat in the southwest. If Phoenix makes it to 110 or more tomorrow, it will be the first time this year. David?
But it could be a difficult night ahead. Ginger, thanks. We'll see you in the morning on GMA. In the meantime, to the deadly police shooting in East Pittsburgh. 17-year-old Antoine Rose, unarmed, shot 3 times and killed as he ran away from a traffic stop. Well, that officer had been sworn into the force just hours before the shooting. And what we've learned tonight, ABC's Kenneth Moten on the scene for us.
Tonight, increasing outrage over the police shooting death of a 17-year-old boy led to hundreds protesting in downtown Pittsburgh. Sources say East Pittsburgh police officer Michael Rosfeld, sworn in just hours before, opened fire on an unarmed Antoine Rose as he ran away from a traffic stop. Police say the car Antoine was in was suspected of being involved in a nearby shooting, and 2 guns were later found inside.
The fact that there's guns in the car gives you no justification to gun down someone in the back.
But ABC News has confirmed the driver who was interviewed and released by police was a driver for hire, sparking more questions about the stop.
I'm just tired of it, and something has got to be done. Something has got to be done.
The shooting also ignited this massive and emotional protest Wednesday night in East Pittsburgh.
I don't truthfully know everything that happened or the entire story, but he was a great person. He was the best friend I've ever had.
David, the officer who fired the fatal shots here, told our local ABC affiliate WTAE today it's a difficult time, and he stayed away from news coverage to deal with the shooting and be with his family. David?
Kenneth Moten. Kenneth, thank you. And to another case making national headlines tonight. A judge this evening in a major decision involving the Turpin parents in California. They have 13 children who in the last 24 hours described in that 911 call the horror inside that home. Tonight, will those parents now stand trial? ABC's Kana Whitworth with what the judge has now decided.
Tonight, new horrifying details about the conditions the Turpin children had to survive. Prosecutors alleging most of the abuse on the father, David Turpin, saying he didn't allow them to bathe, had to stand in the kitchen one at a time while they ate their sparse meals. Prosecutors adding they were forced into cages with padlocks, drawing gasps in the courtroom when the photos of the malnourished children were shown. A deputy testified the 17-year-old told him she was choked by her mother when she caught her watching a Justin Bieber video. Her mother allegedly saying, "Do you want to die? You want to die and go to hell." Prosecutors yesterday played the chilling 911 call made by their 17-year-old daughter when she escaped. Seen here in a